Hey, it's Jeff McNichol down here at Mom's Music, 1900 Melwood Avenue. And I was just thinking, when I was a kid, the magic was at Frankfort Avenue, the Mom's Music at Frankfort Avenue. And I used to beg people to get a ride down there just to hang out with the guys and see all the cool gear. Now that I'm the owner of this store, it's like a dream come true. We're recreating the magic with the vibe that we used to have at the old store. We're carrying all the gear that you're going to possibly want. We're giving you the outstanding service and personal attention that you deserve. Yeah, so we've got the great guitar shop here. We're carrying USA Fender, USA Gibson, Paul Reed Smith, Gretsch, Jackson, Charvel, anything you could possibly want, we're going to have it for you. Mom's is and always will be Louisville's music store.
Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I am your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now let's get this show on the road. What's going on, metalheads? Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I'm your host, Mark Jackson. It is Friday, January the 15th. In the year 2021. Wow. Can't believe it's already 2021. It's like last year, even with COVID, it seemed like it just flew fucking by. So hopefully, everybody, you take the time, you tell the people you know that, hey, I love you, rock the fuck out, metal the fuck out, do what you got to do. Hopefully you take that time with those people. And, I think last year was one of those things, one of those years where we were afraid to see a lot of our loved ones because we didn't want to get them sick or anything like that, or we didn't want to be around somebody who possibly had got sick or anything like that. So take the time, give them a call if you need to, and just say, hey, I'm thinking about you, But anyways, I got Deadwolff from Toronto, Canada on the show this week. Super awesome fucking cats. A great palate cleansing band, honestly. Because, I've had some black thrash bands on, I've had some power metal bands on, I've had some fantasy metal bands on in the past, year. But this is just like traditional heavy metal. It's rocking good fucking tunes, straight to fuck up kind of stuff. And I think that's a great dynamic for the show this week. Because nothing like sliding in, just riding in on it, right? But before we get into talking with Tommy and Bobby, let's talk about some other stuff. So, I'm working with a record store here out of Louisville, Kentucky called Better Days Records, and going in there, we're revamping the metal section in the store. We're looking at putting all of these independent bands that I've had on the show. We're starting out with vinyl first. We're talking about putting all these independent bands that I've had on the show and a lot of the other ones as well that, I haven't had on the show yet. Like, I want to get on the show like Visigoth, Destructor, Fire by Sword, Viral Strain, Affront, Vault Wraith, all of these bands, along with the Haunts and Beastmakers, Midnight, Vanek, Lady Beast, all of those bands as well, in an actual curated metal section by myself and a couple other people here in town. Because I think there's a calling for it, right? So, if you have any bands, if you're a part of a band, and you listen to the show and you have some info on like where I can get your stuff from, your albums, especially if it's on vinyl right now. CDs are coming, but we're going to test the vinyl market first. So, if you have vinyl, shoot me a message. metalforgeradio@gmail.com. I want to buy it. I want to put it in the store. I want to turn more people on to your music. Also, if you own a zine, you publish a zine, you know where I can get zines. We're going to put those in the store as well. So, let me know where I can get them. And I do want to give a shout out really fast to Paul over at Soul Grinder Zine, who had a contest last week. And I actually won. I was surprised. I was like, holy fuck. I don't really ever win things. I haven't won anything in a very long time, and that was a radio giveaway 15 plus years ago, right? Where last time I won concert tickets. But he sent me issue number 7 of the Soul Grinder zine, and super bitchin' artwork on the cover. I'm digging this, and it's like 80 pages. You know, it's a big ass book. It's like Heavy Metal magazine. You know, there's some comic stuff in here. There's some reviews. There's articles. I just got it in the mail earlier this week. I'm going to dig into it this weekend and see what it's all about. But in that care package, I also received the cassette tape of the Soul Grinder Zine Attack Volume 3 cassette. You know, we talk about that in the interview today with Deadwolff about the cassette stuff. So that's pretty cool. I also received let me see here. It was the Soul Grinder Deadly Mosh Revenge. It's a 6-way split compilation disc. Fucking awesome stuff, you know. Along with a bunch of stickers from like Stabby Hamlet and all of these other stuff, you know. It's cool shit all the way around. So, Paul, if you're out there listening, you got something coming back to you in the mail. Thank you so much. You know, this is super fucking cool. And I'm looking to jam the fuck out on some of that stuff, you know. Just fucking awesome. So, again, you have albums out there. You have zines out there. Shoot me a message, metalforgeradio@gmail.com. I want to put these things in my store. I want to, you know, feature you. I want to get more people turned on to your material. You know, create a market for it here in my city, more so than what there already is, because we've already got a pretty decent market. We just want to make it a better one. And I think everybody's cool with that. You know, I think metal these days has never been more in tune with what it needs to be than now. And with all of the bands I mentioned earlier, the bands that I want to have on the show, the bands that I featured on the show, fucking awesome stuff. Speaking of zines too, the dude from Infernal Return, you know, whatever happened to you, man? I'm looking for an issue number 3. Hopefully everything's okay with you. You know, you did the first 2. You featured Black Knife in the second issue. I'm looking for a third one, dude. Where you at? Shoot me a message. You're on my Instagram. Oh shit, there's something I can mention. This past week, we reached over 3,100 likes on Facebook and over 600 likes on Instagram. So we're effectively over 3,700 people between all of the platforms, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We've reached over 3,700 people, so the numbers are growing. You're liking this, I think, which is fucking awesome because I'm liking it too. You know, the listens on the show have never been higher. Fucking shoot me messages. Let me know what's up. You know, tell me a band you want to have on the show. Shoot me some questions you have for bands. You know, or is there any other questions you want to hear me ask? You know, do you want to ask a certain band any questions? When, you know, recommend the band and recommend a question. That's all I can say. So, anyways, before we get into the interview, I also want to thank Mom's Music, Maxwell's House of Music, Tattoo Charlie's, Kentucky Hot Brown Pedalboards, and the Wrestling Steve Show, and all the Patreon subscribers out there. Thank you all so fucking much. Onward and upward, 2021 is looking great. And thank you all for that. So, let's get into some Deadwolff. You know, traditional palate cleansing heavy fucking metal from Toronto, Canada. 3-piece, by the way. And anybody who knows me personally and knows Overload, you know I love a 3-piece fucking band. Because, hey, that's all you fucking need, right? That's really all you need. So, in the form of traditional heavy fucking metal, this is Pedal to the Metal by Deadwolff.
To the metal. Driving through the streets at night with heartache in your eyes. Driving through the streets at night, you grip the wheel goodbye. This time you've run out of gas, but don't look back. Don't
All right, Metalheads, I'm being joined on the line right now from Toronto, Canada, with the members of Deadwolff, Bobby Deuce, and Tommy Wolffe. Guys, how are you doing today?
We're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And
Great.
It's another Sunday night, you know?
definitely, this is, kind of let it leak there that we're pre-recording this, so for sure. So tell everybody out in Metal Forge land about Deadwolff.
Well, we're a three-piece band composed of myself, Thomas Wolffe, Bobby Deuce, and our new drummer, who's not with us tonight, Rawa Brandt. We just released our EP not too long ago, December 18th, on Boomsdale Records. They're putting it all out digitally, and we're just we're getting ready to rock and roll when shows finally become a thing.
Yeah, when they start to
really.
come back again, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, this has been the craziest time ever in, my life as a musician. I'm sure, we're all around the same age, I'm sure, but it's been like that for everybody, I'm sure. No one else really has ever probably experienced anything like this musically, where it's just been like such a shutdown of everything. Interestingly enough, I have some friends that are in a band in Australia, and they haven't had a new case since like the end of October. So they're actually and they're actually starting to play shows and stuff again. They've got tours booked for Australia.
Oh yeah, New Zealand. I've been watching shows from like bands out there. New Zealand still having full stadium shows now.
They just announced they're COVID free.
Yeah,
like the whole New Zealand. Boom.
Right,
Yeah,
and it's insane that, like, I mean, I get why the United States is not being in the United States myself. I understand why we're not, but
and even us being up here in Canada, North America is just fucked right now because they're still letting everyone travel,
Right.
unfortunately. And that's what New Zealand, Australia, they cut that shit out.
Right, and I know that they were making their quarantines like an actual month long. If you came into the country, they locked your ass up.
Oh, really?
For sure. So you just released the EP back in December, and it's got 6 songs on it. And
5.
Oh, I'm
5
sorry.
songs, yeah.
I'm sorry. I was reading 6 to Midnight as I said, as I was saying that, which is the last track on there. 5 songs.
We like to trick people.
Definitely, which is all good. Obviously, you worked on this during the quarantine and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, do you have more ready to go for when shows come in?
Well, I mean, we've got I'd say 3, at least 3 tracks that are in the works right now. One is pretty much done. Just needs some fine tuning, but hopefully by the spring, summer, we'll have everything ready to start recording the full length.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So the EP will contain, the same songs as what the full length will have. They'll just be re-recorded.
Yeah. We've actually decided to not take one track from the EP and not put it on the full length. So the EP still has some, reason to get it.
Different. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you're going to go with an actual physical release at that point?
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to be releasing the EP on cassette. There's some things in the works, but it will be coming out on cassette. We just can't really talk about too much of that.
Understandable. That's such a cool thing. And, I've been speaking with a lot of bands here recently that have released so much material that the cassette market has really come back like tenfold for these independent bands.
For sure.
Literally today, I picked up this stack right here.
Wow. That is a lot.
Yeah. That was just earlier today. Just from one dude. Yeah. It's like cassettes are the thing. Are coming back for sure.
And maybe it's just me. I'm not huge on cassettes personally because, I had a bunch of them when I was younger.
Because they're the worst form of fucking audio you could ever buy. I mean,
so true.
Fucking listen to one. It's degrading.
Well,
every time you listen, it's over.
I don't know if it's the worst form of audio that you could buy, but I mean, because digital 20 years ago when it first really started coming out, that shit sucked. But at least now with the digital market, musicians and producers and such have come a long way in being able to produce a great sound for a digital medium.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as opposed to, it wasn't just like, back in the 80s, I have an original press CD copy of Fly By Night. And it sounds just like they ripped it from the vinyl to put it on the CD.
No way.
And of course it doesn't sound like the vinyl because, you know, it's compressed audio at that point. And, but yeah, so many advancements have went crazy with the production of things, especially with being able to bring out cassettes. And I'm still a big fan of the 7-inch singles.
Oh, 7-inch singles. Oh, those are fucking classic, man.
Definitely.
And you know what? It's all coming back around, you know? Everyone's getting too sick of how disposable music is, you know? Like, don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, you know, with YouTube and everything, it's super convenient and easy to find new bands and whatnot. But everything's so disposable, you know? You're no longer listening to full albums. You're listening to songs that have just on playlists, you know?
Definitely.
Cherry picking songs out of albums is what people do
with
now.
tapes and records, you sit down, you crack a couple beers with your buddies in the basement, and you listen to a full album, and you're going to hear these songs that, okay, maybe they weren't the radio singles, but they're really good fucking songs.
Oh, absolutely. I was having that conversation with somebody the other day, just in personal life, you know, conversation stuff. And he brought up the Black Album and talking about like what's considered an album track. And I said, well, you know, my favorite song on that album is Struggle Within. It's the last song on the album. And it's just like, who else would say something like that? You know, that you're going to lead towards.
Somebody that's actually listened to the record, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I come from a time when to me, I heard so much stuff from other people musically that I wanted to hear. It's like, okay, well, what's after this? You know, it can't be these same 4 songs. So that's where, and I guess that's the great thing about, you know, finding new artists on like Bandcamp, because a lot of this, a lot of artists I find strictly through Bandcamp and through Instagram, which is where I found you guys, was on Instagram. And then I listened to it and I was like, this is pretty fucking kick-ass shit. And it's how how everything's turned around. And, you know, going through Bandcamp, I buy album EP exclusive, you know, like the whole thing. I don't buy single tracks off of there because to me it's counterproductive, I guess.
Yep.
You know, to just buy one song of somebody's, because there are so many bands and Bandcamp, you know, where it's relegated to price by the artist. You know, so many bands put their stuff on there, and I think a lot of it is underpriced.
No, 100% it's underpriced.
And like every single one of these bands has put so much work into each track. They're selling it for $2, you know, and stuff like that. It's crazy. Yeah. $3.
Or, you know, you get like what I've done with my personal collection on there, where it's like anything that's over like 5 years old is like in the $5 bin on my side.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, see if it moves, I guess.
The unfortunate thing is that in our, you know, in society today, everything's gone up in price, you know, the housing market, food, whatever. Music has not.
Right.
You know, so you've got these bands that are shilling out today's prices into recording, merch, blah, blah, blah. But they're making, you know,
1970s earnings off it.
Right. The same money they would have made in 1977.
And the money's just going right back into their band, you know? Like, we're not making any fucking money. Nobody's making fucking money. You make some money at shows, but that goes back into your band, you know? Unless you're like Bob Seger or fucking Metallica, you're not making fucking money.
Right. Well, you know, that's one of the things that's so backwards in the United States with, and I guess, you know, Canada and the United Kingdom, because they still feature like ASCAP and BMI and CSAC and all of that. That's where, like, on public radio, it's so backwards where most of the artists that get paid from FM radio are going to be your Bob Segers, your Metallicas, your, Iron Maiden will get paid off of it if you have a station in your area that will play them. Bands like that. Bands like you or I, we're not going to see that royalty money because there's no one out there to go and get it for us.
No,
exactly.
And at the end of the day, it comes down to now bands are, it's really, you're doing it yourself. You're reaching out to these people. You're putting your own money into it, and it's a gamble. You don't know if you're going to make it back. You put some money into like
99% of the time you don't make it back.
No, exactly.
Right. What's that? There's a saying out there. It says, don't expect a return on investment.
Exactly. That's being in a fucking band. But it's
pretty much.
When it comes to Bobby and I, it's we just want to rock and roll. That's it. At the end of the day, we've got our lives, and we just want to fucking play.
Right. And that's the whole sentiment behind it, where it's just, what else is there to do, really? Except for, to play your show and rock the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't know much else than, cracking a few beers, throwing on some tunes, and when it comes down to it, fucking rocking and rolling,
Definitely.
There's not much else to do these days but sit around and listen to music either. So,
exactly.
True. And even barring any kind of like COVID restrictions, say if it were even normal life, normal in air quotes here, what else are you going to do? You're going to still do the same things we're doing now. Just, okay, you might go out to eat more occasionally. You might go to play more shows, but even still, if you're not going on tour, chances are you're not playing a show in your hometown every weekend of the month. So
no. We one of our plans once things are a little back to normal, we're hitting the ground running. We're going out on tour. We're already talking to people, setting shit up. And we're coming out swinging.
And that's all you can do, really.
And there's no reason not to do it. Like, the shitty thing about this COVID deal with all these bands, so many bands have written so much music and they can't even tour with the new albums. Just sitting on new albums, sitting on this. It's like so hard.
Oh, absolutely. That's very true. And honestly, to me, the live stream thing really, it doesn't do it for me. I watched quite a few live stream concerts with the COVID thing. It's not the same. I watched a band release an album and do an actual album release show live stream. And for donating to the stream, you got like a copy of it where you got like a Bandcamp download code.
That's cool.
And that was cool, but like, it's still, they're an all instrumental band, and I would have loved to have just been there in person. Because I guess it's the feeling of music, not just necessarily the audio behind it. If that makes
for me,
sense.
it has a lot to do with the atmosphere at the show.
Yes.
People there, you're feeding off their energy as they're feeding off yours, and you're in it together, watching the band, rocking out. Now you're at home in your living room watching a TV.
Right. Well,
there's no one there to camaraderie, it's gone.
Right.
Not to mention the, when it comes to streaming these things, if something pops up, if a connection drops or...
Yeah, you lose everything. That was in the last week's episode.
Oh, yeah. The last good live stream I saw that, something didn't fuck up. It would have been like at the start of the whole lockdown. I watched the Dropkick Murphys St. Paddy's Day show, right? And like, that was fucking flawless. They're on a big stage. They have the money to do this and all that, right?
Right.
But when it comes to, bands like mine, yours, and theirs, it's not going to be the same quality. It's not going to be the same connection. It's not going to be the same feel. And it leaves the bands at the end of the day wondering, oh, fuck, why did we even do that?
Right. And there's people that I would say that could go out and do an amazing live stream, and I'm going to throw Haunt out there in that. I think Haunt would make an amazing live stream band for now. But like, I understand why he doesn't do it personally.
Yeah.
Because
It's not the same deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
It's just
At
not
the
the
end
same.
of the day.
All right, hang out for just a second. We're going to come right back with the members of Deadwolff. Since 1973, Tattoo Charlie's has been an established body modification studio in Kentucky, featuring world-renowned artists and piercers, currently with locations on Preston Highway and in Lexington, a staple point in the tattoo community. Learn more at TattooCharlies.com. Set up your appointment today at 7904 Preston Highway. Our tattoos are done while you wait.
Hey, it's Mark Maxwell at Maxwell's House of Music. Listen, all this stuff is now available to purchase on our website. Check it out at maxwellshouseofmusic.com.
We carry all the top brands, like Fender.
We got Gibson.
We also have basses.
We've got ukuleles.
We got drums.
We've got sound gear.
We've got keyboards.
When you all get together to write, because I know you all are both in the same area.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like a small drive away from each other, but it's not.
Okay. So you all actually get together, write your music. Do you strictly do it that way, or are you sending things back and forth through Messenger and recording songs away from each other?
It's a bit of both. To be honest.
Yeah, a bit of both. We'll send back ideas and then work them out together, you know?
Okay. So
Yeah, like, I mean, in the beginning, like, Tom had started writing a bunch of songs. So he had already like had bass lines written and structures down. He's like, I need a guitar player. So that's how that happened, right? He had all these ideas and I joined and helped him finish the ideas for most of the EP.
Okay.
Yeah, but it all came together in such a way that, like, if it wasn't for Bobby, these songs wouldn't sound how they do, you know? And the way we're playing off each other now, we wouldn't even be able to guess it, you know?
Right.
The new stuff is, because we're doing it together, it's coming in, like, it's so smooth, like, effortlessly. It's writing itself. It's so good.
Definitely.
So-
And it's part of the camaraderie of writing with another person, I think.
Totally.
And
Oh, yeah.
it's like watching two guitar players or a guitarist and a bassist just sit there and come in sync with each other. And
You can
on
see it
stage,
happen.
You can see it happening live. Yeah. Like when you can watch James and Kirk on stage.
Oh yeah.
And that
it's like their hands are conjoined sometimes. It just yeah, it's cool. It's cool shit to see.
Yeah, and it creates a great visual. So I would be interesting to see it live, I guess. For sure. So if you're coming through Kentucky, I need to know.
Sooner and later.
It will be.
For sure. On the EP, was it recorded with the drummer or was it actually programmed?
Well, actually,
yeah, I recorded the drums.
Okay.
I've been drumming for, like, my old band, punk band. We were, you know, touring here and there. I've been playing the drums for like fucking like 16 years or some shit. But I've also been playing bass for a while, right? And I knew what I wanted the drums to sound like, and it was before we had a drummer, so I just fucking
right on.
Our original drummer was
yeah, the original drummer was my Yamaha keyboard with the
Definitely.
He kept a beat. He had one beat. He did it well.
yeah, he did in time.
But I mean, there's so many bands out there today that actually do that record, you know, programmed drums, and would love to have somebody or themselves be able to learn how to play them and do them.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Drummers are hard to find, man.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, that was one of the
good ones. Good ones are hard to find.
Good ones are hard to find. That was one of the things we were talking about before on the Soul Grinder episode. Is like they have like one drummer out there that everybody knows, and he's in the same band. Yeah. He's in like 6 different bands, and he has no life. So yeah,
it's like I played in another band, and that drummer was in 20 bands.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was just insane. He was in like every band in the scene at the time. It was crazy. He's just good, and you know, it's hard to find a good drummer.
With everything, you know, release-wise and everything that we've talked about so far, you know, I do like to ask personal questions to the band. just because COVID has drilled it into our heads, especially here in America. Everybody says the same thing. Stay safe, stay smart, stay healthy. You know, we're all in this together. It's like watching High School Musical or something.
Yeah, basically.
So I like to actually get to know musicians more. So I like to ask some personal questions. You know, these are somewhat music related, somewhat not. Just you as people. What is your best quality?
Best quality.
This is the hardest question.
I'd have to say I'm a good buddy. You know, at the end of the day, I don't know. I like catching up with people, you know, throughout the quarantine, you know, calling people up, touching base.
No one has ever actually phone called me more than this guy.
Nice.
I just like talking, you know. I've always been a big bar guy, right? So, you know, you go to the bar, you know, you see your buddies.
Right.
And throughout the past year, we haven't been able to do that. So, like, I don't know. I like calling up people and chatting with them, making sure they're doing well and, you know, touching base. And rather than that, I'd say I'm a good listener, too.
Right on. Well, I think most musicians are good listeners for the most part.
I would hope so.
I mean, yeah.
We spend our time listening.
Exactly. See? It works like that. What about you, Bobby? What's your best quality?
I don't know. I guess
he always brings the beer. No.
Actually, me and Tom are pretty good on splitting that, so most of the time. Yeah. I guess for me, my best quality would be the fact that when it comes to music, I'm never going to give up. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm going to play guitar until I die, and whatever band I'm with gets the dedication that I'd give.
Awesome. And that is a great quality to have.
Well, that beats the shit out of my answer.
No, I think they're both equally as good. What's the last thing you watched on YouTube?
Last thing I watched on YouTube. Actually, believe it or not, my nephew just made me watch some video of these two dudes building a mud hut. Just so you know.
Nice.
I think I just watch on YouTube, like, I don't know, probably just like 80s music videos.
Right on.
I think the last video I saw was Electric Blue by Icehouse.
Oh, man.
Wow. Just because I'm going to have to put a link to that in the description below.
Yeah, dude. He literally played that song like 15 times in a row one night. It was so brutal.
That's
the song's been stuck in my head for fucking ever.
Nice. This is a fan favorite question here. Denim or leather?
Denim.
Ooh, I love denim. I love my denim. I'm actually wearing my leather jacket less lately because I love my denim.
Nice.
Yeah. Fucking denim, man. Red, white, and true. That's what it is. That's a Canadian staple.
Right.
I'm going to a wedding, denim on denim. You kidding me?
Yes. Who would be a dream musician to either meet or work with?
To me, I'd love to meet Sting.
Nice.
That's
not.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else has ever said Sting.
Well, believe it or not, he loves the Police. They're one of his favorite bands.
That's my favorite band, the Police.
Nice. I mean, Sting's badass, dude. That whole band is badass.
Sting was badass.
They are actually really, really talented. Believe it or not.
Oh yeah. I love the Police. Like during the Police era, Sting afterwards, you know, he started getting super fucking pretentious, you know. But when it comes to like, you know, like 77 through 83 Police, like,
right,
that's fucking right on.
Hey,
I'd love to just pick their brains, you know.
Definitely. What about you, Bobby?
I mean, to work with, it's so hard. But to be honest, if I could play with anybody, it'd be Glenn Tipton from Judas Priest. He'd be able to show you the coolest licks, man. It's Judas Priest,
Right. Definitely. I actually watched the music video to Rock-a-Rolla today.
Nice. That's the cheesiest video.
Out of famous people in general, who would you like to meet?
You want to start with
this might be weird, but I want to meet Keanu Reeves so bad. He's such a cool dude.
Whoa.
Isn't that weird?
Nah.
I mean, for me, growing up watching the Bill and Ted movies, I thought he was the coolest dude of all time.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, no, I get it. I get it. I'm not a big Bill and Ted fan, but I like Speed. I like Speed.
Oh, Speed rules, though. The first Speed movie's so good.
Yeah,
Dennis Hopper.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
Jeff Daniels, and yep, definitely.
It's such a good movie.
What about you, Tommy?
I would love to meet Dan Aykroyd.
That's
Absolutely.
Good.
He's a Canadian legend, you know. You're talking Ghostbusters, you're talking Great Outdoors, original SNL lineup, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got a cottage not too far from me, so I'm like,
Are you camping out next to it?
just waiting for his moment.
Yeah, here I am trying to look up, trying to find out where this guy lives, so I can just knock on his door and be like, "Hey, Dan, I got this 12-pack. Here's some free beers. Let's shoot the shit." Because he's a right-on guy that would just be like, "Well, fuck, all right,
Yeah.
give me your beers."
You know, watching, like getting on TikTok and watching those videos, some of those, I don't know if you've ever seen any of them on there. Like,
I don't have TikTok.
Like,
I don't have it either.
There's some stuff with like him and Jim Belushi where they're going to like different House of Blues dressed as the Blues Brothers, just like going in and being like, "Hey, what's up?" And
yeah, man, the fucking Blues Brothers. I mean, like that's
just watched that this yesterday morning.
Legendary.
Nice.
You know.
Well, and I mean, he's
like, you throw on an all-black suit and a fucking black fedora, and like you are one of the Blues Brothers. And to meet that guy would just be,
it'd be awesome.
At its state.
And you actually said The Great Outdoors, which is my favorite like kid vacation movie. You know,
buddy, him and John Candy.
Oh, it's great.
He's a legend.
It's absolutely great. I love it. You know. From everything in it, you know, where it's just, he's just this pompous dick in the movie, and then you find out that he has nothing. Spoiler alert. 30 years
the
later.
role he plays in Tommy Boy, I mean, like, it's great, you know?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I would have said, John Candy, but unfortunately the man's passed. My favorite film is Uncle Buck, you know?
Nice,
I mean,
nice.
These movies,
Harry and the Hendersons?
Definitely. What's your favorite breakfast food?
Cigarettes and coffee.
Yes. Spoken like a true rock star.
Buddy, you just get a fucking cup of Hortons and a couple darts in you, and you're good to go until noon.
Honestly, just coffee is all I need in the morning. I don't eat most food until like noon at least.
Nice. All right. So coffee and cigarettes. Hell yeah. What do you invest too much time into?
Too much time into?
Lately? Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Yes.
I've been playing that lately. No, what I invest too much time into is finding bunk cassette tapes at the thrift store that are already chewed up that people, fucking donated. And then, if I find a good Glass Tiger tape, well, it's not actually good. I gotta go out and find another one. All my fucking April Wine tapes have just been fucking chewed from cassette players. I spend more time looking for good fucking tape decks than I do doing my laundry,
Wow.
Fuck.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you're right. There's so many tapes and stuff out there that have been mangled that you get a copy of. And, I guess you're part of the culture that will split like a good case and a good cassette.
This is my stuff that's mangled right now that I gotta fucking, here's Megadeth, So Far So Good. Here's April Wine, First Glance, fucking Nature the Beast, fucking Van Halen, Women, Children First. These are prime fucking cassettes that tape decks have fucking chewed up, and now I gotta fucking try and find them again.
Right.
It's an ongoing struggle.
Definitely.
That really bites down to the core.
That's the downside of collecting cassettes.
See, that's the reason why I don't do it. I have a very limited cassette run of what I have. And
it's the very reason I tell people not to do it.
I got really hard into them because one of my old work trucks only had a cassette player. So I started loading up on cassettes, and that's what really got me into it.
I understand.
My brother's first car only had a fucking tape deck, right? And I remember one of the first tapes I lifted from the old VV boutique was Mr. Big's Lean Into It. I think it's Lean Into It.
Yeah.
And we would just drive around listening to that all the time.
about 6 or 7 years ago, when the tape thing really came back, when it was first starting again, I sit there and I asked the guy, I was like, why would you want to put this out on cassette? And he's like, well, the thing is most of these people's fan base, these 16-year-old, 17-year-old kids are getting their first cars, and they're not getting new cars. They're getting these, they're not. They're getting these 90, 91,
95, 96, 97 Honda garbage cars.
This like 1990 Honda with a tape deck in it, and they want to listen to their friend's band.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
And that's what they do. To have that 91 Honda tape deck again. It's such an awesome thing, I guess. But anyways, let's take another break. We're going to come right back with more Deadwolff here at the Metal Forge.
Hey guys, Wrestling Steve of the Wrestling Steve Show here. So if you're currently listening to the Metal Forge with Mark Jackson, then you understand that Mark Jackson has a pretty discerning taste when it comes to music as a whole. You'll also understand that he has a discerning taste for professional wrestling, just like me. My show is called the Wrestling Steve Show. I talk about modern and classic pro wrestling in a completely unbiased, unfiltered way. Be sure to check me out on all available podcasting platforms. That is the Wrestling Steve Show, and I am the host, Wrestling Steve. Just remember, like Confucius said, man who goes through turnstile in Thailand is going to Bangkok. Pro wrestling.
What's one thing you'd change about yourself?
My feet.
I would fix my eyes, man. I actually wear glasses and contacts, so I would just fix those straight up.
Yeah.
Right on. And what do you say?
I have size 14 feet, and good luck finding fucking shoes. I have to buy size 13 shoes, which are actually a little too small for my feet, so I grin and bear it. Rather than that, I don't know, man. I'm pretty right on.
Right on. Hell yeah. What food can you not stand?
A lot of seafood. Yeah, no, like octopus, like calamari, shit that.
I'm not a big fan of squid-ish seafood, but I like fish, scallops, shit like that.
And olives fucking suck. I
love olives, man. I love olives so much. I open a jar of green olives and I just load them into my mouth with a spoonful, man. It's so good.
Pickles.
It's so good.
Pickles. But dill pickles, and not like that fucking bread pickles or whatever you want to call it. It's got to be pickles.
What was your first concert?
Mine is actually pretty epic because it was Bob Dylan, and I was like 4, I think, maybe 5. My dad took me because my mom wouldn't go with him. And he didn't want to waste a ticket, so he brought me to see Bob Dylan at like 4 or 5.
Wow. That's killer.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
He actually just sold the rights to his entire catalog for like $300.
No!
Yep, for like $350 million.
Well, that's enough money.
The guy is pushing what, like 75? He doesn't give a shit. He wants his money. I mean, his kids probably aren't doing fuck all because his grandfather, is, oh, my dad's fucking Bob Dylan. I don't have to do anything. So he's selling his fucking songs. He's leaving his money, and his kids are probably just fucking hang-a-beds.
I mean, Jacob is like, he's in his like 40s, so yeah. Jacob,
there you go.
So yeah, I mean, and he made a pretty decent amount of money too with like the whole Wallflowers thing. So
oh yeah,
that's true.
I get it.
That's true.
I've never really looked into Bob Dylan's lineage, so
right.
Hopefully they're all doing all right. Come Christmas time, there's no bickering.
Yeah. I don't think they have to worry about spending a certain amount of money on a Christmas gift for one another.
There's no budget.
No.
Secret Santa of $10 this year.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I got the old ticket stub just over here on the wall, eh, Bobby? Alice Cooper Helix.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's solid.
I call that one a grade 8.
All right, this one's a hard question here. What's your favorite animal?
Oh, man, that's rough. I mean, realistically, it's probably just going to be dog for me because a dog's one of the only, like, man's best friend.
Favorite animal?
Right on.
I mean, cats. I mean, like, I've never actually petted a coyote or a wolf or
Yeah,
like
you know, you'll probably people say
dog's
like,
my favorite pet, my favorite animal.
oh, I really like whales. Well, when was the last time you fucking petted a whale there, Joe?
Exactly. That's what I have to say.
I like our cat, Patrick Swayze, and that's about the one cat or animal I really know. So I'm just going to say cat.
Did you post on Instagram a picture of him the other day?
Probably.
And
yeah. Patrick Swayze's the best cat name ever.
Yes, it is. That's because I remember, I know I heard that somewhere, and I was like, and now it makes sense because I don't know if it was on Instagram or Facebook or something. I was like, when you said Patrick Swayze, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. No, he's right on, you know, like whenever Bobby and I are
chill for a cat.
Yeah, he dips into the old jam room and just tears up the side of my fucking amp as a scratching post.
Well, at least if he's doing it to the Tolex, that's one thing. If he's doing it, if your amp has like the fabric on there,
yeah, it's got the old.
Oh gosh.
Like some amps have like carpet basically.
Yeah, it's like a felt.
So it gets destroyed.
Yeah, I had to,
even just getting thrown in and out of a van after so much, it's just ripped and shredded.
Oh, for sure. I had to resurface one of my practice amps, and I've got like a little Fender Rumble 15 or something, and I had to redo it because I had a cat that completely shredded the shit out of it.
Oh yeah, man, that's the side of my amp right now.
I mean, it looked like it was like a fro or something.
Oh yeah,
just shredded.
Yep. Worst album by your favorite band.
My favorite band of all time. Oh yeah, look at that. That's number one right there. It's got to be the worst album they've ever made for sure. That's such a non-debatable like thing right there.
And here's the bad thing: is I bought that sticker for $1.
No way. My favorite band of all time is Judas Priest. And their worst album, in my opinion, would be their Nostradamus album.
Oh, interesting. You know,
I saw Priest on the Nostradamus tour. It was the Metal Masters tour. So it was Testament, Motorhead, Judas Priest, and Heaven and Hell, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that rules.
And which will always hold true to me because it was like one of the last tours with KK Downing and Glenn Tipton, right?
Right.
Yeah, man. I was so bummed out.
Near and dear. But Nostradamus. Ugh, no bueno.
It's got to be their most bunk album for sure. I mean,
you know, that's so interesting because there are so many people out there. And that is I've really come to notice that is a love or hate album from them.
Oh, for sure.
Same thing.
I don't know anyone who likes a couple tracks.
Same thing with this.
Same thing with that, for sure.
It is a love or hate album where people are just like, oh, it's the greatest fucking thing they've ever done, or it's the fucking biggest piece of shit they've ever done. And, you know, and I think that's, to be in their situation, any band that's major like Priest, Metallica, Maiden, Ozzy, Sabbath, I think that's a crazy thing to be able to release something that can completely divide your entire audience almost.
Yep. But I mean, when you're that established and you've got 30 albums, are you really concerned with the fans not liking the next one because you chose to go a different way artistically?
Obviously, I know Metallica's not.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they've done it a few times now.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially in the years from 1996 to 2004.
They should have They should have taken a fucking break and just gone, while grunge was, and new metal was on the up and up. They should have just taken a fucking break and then come back out without all the shit.
It's true. Should have taken a break. There's a lot of the bands, like the bigger metal bands in the mid to late 90s there, when like the new metal was a thing. They were all pushing out these albums, and it was all mediocre, And so what they should have done is just take a break. Like, imagine if Metallica didn't write an album in any of the 90s except for the Black Album, whatever.
Right.
And then their first album that they wrote after that was, what was that, Death Magnetic?
Yeah.
Imagine if they didn't write any material between the two albums, how crazy Death Magnetic would have been.
Oh my gosh! Like if they would have taken off from like when they quit touring in 1994 to until 2008 when Death Magnetic, 14 years.
That would have been a crazy album.
Right.
Wait, it was an all right album for old Metallica.
Yeah.
You know?
I
thought it was a decent album.
I know there's a lot of people that really hate the mixing on it, like because it's too high end mixed. There's a lot of
I can see that. I can see that for sure.
And which I'm interested to see on a lot of these huge edition box sets, the remaster edition stuff. You know, I'm anxious to see what they're going to do when it comes to stuff like the Black Album and Load Reload, and obviously the album that should not be named. we talk about it a lot on the show, like, because see,
but you talk about it, but you don't name it.
Well, I'm that's a new thing in 2021. I'm not naming it.
That's so funny.
The album that should not be.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, because that's good. Metallica.
Oh, I said I'll drink to that.
Definitely. I'll have my Diet Mountain Dew here.
All right, here we go. Cheers to that.
What's an instrument you would like to learn?
Saxophone.
Straight up.
Oh, phone.
Oh, cool.
Same. I actually would love to be able to play the sax well. That'd be super cool.
We're hitting this 2 weeks in a row now. You know, that was something. Yeah.
Then you can be a full fucking
popular thing, isn't it?
Machine, you know.
Definitely.
Your first album can be called like a sax appeal or something, you know, like
sax appeal
that comes off of it makes it enough.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, sax on the beach, you know,
nice. You would think that would be something like a Kenny G album or something, but I don't think he's cool enough.
Kenny G album.
No, because Kenny G is greasy, you know. He's like, if you ever look at a Kenny G album, he's sitting there, but he's not playing the sax. He's playing the clarinet. Don't get me wrong. He is
greasy.
Don't get me wrong. You can probably pull a lot of strings playing the clarinet, but at the end of the day, you're not playing the saxophone.
Right.
The clarinet was the first instrument I learned in music class, and then gave it up because it was just the most annoying thing of all time.
What's that? A clarinet?
Clarinet, yeah. I remember being forced to try and learn it, and then being like, "Fuck this noise! This is garbage."
Luckily, in elementary school, I was starting out on drums, so I was already on the drums, right? But man.
You know, I know he's a friend of the band. Who's greasier, Jake Grease or Kenny G?
I mean, I love Jake, but he's a greasy guy.
He is.
Yeah, he's cool shit. I'd say Kenny's greasier than Jake.
Oh,
Jake's the man. He's actually a cool.
Like our buddy Jake.
I love that guy. He's actually home for Christmas right now on the East Coast, just like I am.
Cool.
Yeah. No, I missed the question. Our buddy Jake?
Yeah.
You talking about Jake?
Yeah, Jake Grease.
Only because his last name is Grease.
Right.
Not really. That's his last name's Gracie.
Gracie, right? No, Jake's fucking right on. I've known Jake.
You gotta wonder, did Jake have this, like, is it a long distant relative, an insanely good boxer? Who knows?
Wow. Nice.
I always wanted that about Jake. That would be cool, right?
Somebody?
I mean, Gracie.
Jake. Jake's fucking solid as shit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a man.
When Villain were on, they were so great. They awesome cats. Yeah. They share the shit.
Jake's a super good drummer.
They share the shit out of posts.
Staple through and through. You know what? And at the end of the day, you know, all these people going out to the Bovine, all these people that went to Coalition, that hang around Cherry Colas. They know Villain, Jake and Caleb and Kane. Those boys are fucking solid.
Definitely.
They've been slaying it since they started. They've been doing really good.
Hell yeah. They're awesome cats. All right, let's take one more break here, and we're going to come right back with more Deadwolff here at the Metal Forge. Thank you all for tuning in. Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge this week. I really appreciate every last one of you that listens. But before I go any further, I do want to tell you that we do have a Patreon page here, and there's 3 tiers. There's the Down and Dirty $1 tier. If it's just $1, hey, you're not going to miss $1. Nobody does. Then there's the $5 Showstoppers tier, which you get a patch, stickers, whatever we have that's in that price range. And then there's the $20 a month Master, where you can get a t-shirt, any size, any color of the Metal Forge logo. Fuck yeah, that's awesome stuff. Oh, and by the way, if you donate on there, guess what? You get the show 2 days in advance from everybody else. Thank you all so much. It's patreon.com/metalforgeradio. Check it out and donate today. I love you guys. Thank you. Got a few more questions. Who outside of the band do you lean on to get an objective opinion on the music before you release it?
JJ.
JJ,
Yeah.
it's kind of he's our label guy. So
Yeah.
He runs the label that we release the EP from.
Right.
And
on.
most of the time, it's JJ. He's, but
do you ever need any sort of Bobby and I, we've been through the ringer a bit when it comes to, underground bands. So, we're kind of learning from mistakes, but when it comes to,
this is neither of our first rodeo, right? So,
yeah, it's not our first rodeo. When it comes to getting, when it comes to getting some advice and, when it comes to, kind of getting a third opinion or whatever it will be. It's JJ. He's solid as shit.
Right on.
His opinion is pretty respected too, right? So
right, and I think that's always something. A lot of people share it with their significant other and say, "Hey, what do you think?" And it's always an interesting thing because I think everybody has that person that they send it to and say, "Hey, I know you're not going to bullshit me and you're not going to give me lip service, so what do you think?" So for sure.
Yeah.
What's your favorite word?
Word.
Probably buddy.
Wow.
Yes, I could tell that buddy is a good one for you.
Buddy's a pretty solid word.
All the fucking time.
You're like, hey buddy, we're ready to start.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's personal,
Tommy's buddies with everyone.
Right.
It's personal and it doesn't, it's not, it's gender fluid,
that's true.
It's all over the place, it's pretty right on. So, and it's a Canadian staple, which I will hold tried and true, fucking always, I stay on those staples.
Right.
You got it.
What was
I don't really have a favorite word, really, but I mean,
nothing that comes to mind that you say all the time.
I say A more than the average Canadian, and I've been trying not to say it in this interview, just so you know.
Right on.
But it holds dear, and you can't just fucking say
you
A.
You can't even stop it. Like I'm only not saying A in this interview because I'm trying not to.
Well, I mean,
if I didn't put that like stop saying A right now in, it would be like every second sentence would have an A. Eh?
It would. You know what I mean? Eh? Got one more question, but before we get into it, tell people out there how they can get a hold of Deadwolff. How can they buy albums, buy merch? How can they follow you guys?
Well, Tom, you hit this one.
Yeah, we're just getting all the merch together right now. Like I said previously, the cassettes are in work right now. We can't talk about that too much right now. We've got the Bandcamp up. It's deadwolff.bandcamp.com, some shit like that. So hey, if you want to buy the fucking EP, fucking A rights, hell yeah. And then it's up on Spotify, it's up on YouTube, it's up on pretty much all streaming platforms if you want to check it out. And besides that, when we can, we'll be coming to a fucking town near you. Probably a town and not a city, because
Right. And as always, links will be in the description below. You can click, you can support. There will be links to the Deadwolff Instagram, Facebook, and Bandcamp pages, and any kind of official links in there, as well as all the sponsors for the Metal Forge below. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give to anybody before we go today?
Shout-outs. I guess
Skullfist, Villain, Riot City.
Fuck. JJ specifically out of the Skullfist group, just for being such a bro about everything.
Definitely.
Jake specifically from Villain for being so rad about shit too. He's been pumping us hard too.
He's fucking solid.
Dan
Neild from the West Coast. He's in a band called Immortal Force. He's fucking
Right on.
shit.
Yeah. I mean, Danny T for fucking mixing our EP for us.
Hell
Did a
yeah.
solid job.
Dan fucking rules. Yeah. Give a shout out to the old lady, Jen Sexsmith. She's
You gotta shout out Greg then.
Yeah, you can't.
Oh, we
can't
gotta shout out
forget that.
classic. Oh, Greg.
you know,
Greg's the man.
Greg, I mean, the fucking EP wouldn't sound as good as it did, like when we were recording, just around the corner from my place, he, after a take, he'd be like, that sounds all right. Let's do it again, and he really pushed it to sound.
That's what was good about Greg. He was super honest. He's like, you know what? I know you could do better. So you do another take.
Definitely. So, Tommy, Bobby, final question of the night. What album changed your life?
You go first.
Allied Forces by Triumph.
My life changer was Unleashed in the East by Judas Priest.
Right on. Yeah, a live album even. Well, a
either way.
pseudo
I was
live
super
album.
young.
A pseudo live album.
Super young, and my dad actually, he heard me listening to, okay, this is super embarrassing. Not really, but I was listening to Rammstein when I was like 11.
Right.
And my dad was like, oh no. He's like, you want to hear some heavy stuff? So he took me in the minivan, forced me to drive around and listen to Sabbath and Priest.
Hey.
And I was like, this is awesome, Dad. Thank you.
That I actually saw them when I was about 14 and Rammstein, and was completely like blown away by the stage show, because at that time they were still doing...
the other stage show is literally insane.
Yeah, even to this day. And it's they're one of those bands that I don't think a lot of people realize that they've been out for over 25 years with the same lineup. They have
not a single member change. Like, it's actually impressive. It's like, I don't like Rammstein, but I do appreciate how hard they are as a band.
Oh, absolutely.
They're a hard band. Like, they don't give a fuck.
Definitely. And, like you said, though, Unleashed in the East, that's an interesting thing. That
album blew me away as a kid.
I wouldn't have expected a live album like that. And I say a pseudo live album because...
It is pseudo.
Yes.
Some of the vocals were re-recorded.
All of the vocals were re-recorded.
All of them? Oh, I thought it was just some of them.
No.
Wow, that's cool.
In the book Confess by Rob Halford. Interestingly enough book, he actually talks about it on there.
I said I have that downstairs. I've been meaning to read it.
You should. It's,
Dude, you have that?
It's, no pun intended. It's pretty hardcore. There's some stuff that he talks about in there that you're like, all right, it's, yeah. He actually talks about that album and how he was so trashed and his voice was roached out and everything, and they went back to the studio when they came back from Japan. They were like, we can't release this, and he's like, you're definitely not. And he actually went back in and recorded everything in one take.
Yeah,
like
honestly, like
spoilers.
I knew most of it was re-recorded for vocally. Yeah. I didn't know all of it, so that's whatever. Yeah. It is what it is. But the album itself, just the musicianship live, is fucking flawless.
It's absolutely insane. I have
every track on that album sounds better and harder than the studio version of that song.
Like, you get Hellbent for Leather, and it's just like,
so good on that.
So faster,
so
too.
Good.
Everything's like 2
for
clicks
sure,
faster.
Right? It's almost like Judas Priest didn't figure out awesome. Like, they obviously figured out awesome, but like they didn't have the ballsy amps until all of a sudden. Amps were better, almost like they were just more distortion, heavier, like dirtier.
Right.
I don't know. It ruled. Yeah. That album ruled for me.
Yeah, and what was that? 1978, 79, something.
I think 78 or 79, something like that.
And,
yeah.
I'm sure somebody will comment on something.
Oh yeah, someone will comment.
Well, it was.
They're going to correct us for
August of 19. That somebody will say something about it for sure. But yeah. There was that whole transition where, where like bands from the 70s sounded a certain way. Like Motorhead sounded a lot like Judas Priest and stuff like that. And,
that's
even
the thing. It's almost like Gear just kind of all of a sudden got better at one year.
Yeah. It's probably around the same time period that, Van Halen came out, because they actually audibly sounded different than everybody else.
Totally.
Eddie Van Halen was, he was
insane.
Oh, yeah, no, he was tweaking everything, he was coming of age,
So, off of the EP, on the way out today, what do you guys want me to play?
Honestly, I'd love you to play Wanted Man.
Wanted Man.
That song, Wanted Man rips so hard off that EP, dudes.
All right, here it comes. This is from Deadwolff in Toronto. This is Wanted Man.
New wave of heavy rock and roll coming at you.
Woo!
Yeah.
Musicians, rejoice. Confused with all the modern and technical pedalboard selections? Look no further. Kentucky Hot Brown Pedalboards offer their homemade wooden and custom pedalboards for guitarists and bassists alike. Established in 2013, KYHBPB has helped support not only the local Louisville scene, but a large array of big and small players from across the entire country. More info can be found at KentuckyPedalboards.com.